from my back cave today for another little episode of The Art of Feeling Better. Now, I'm really excited because I have some really cool guests lined up very soon because I've not had a guest on for a little while. And I have also been a guest on a couple of other podcasts, so I will be sharing those very soon. But I have something to talk about. Who would have guessed it? Lots of things that I'm working on at the moment that I have been guided to work on and led to work on and asked to work on that have really made me think about what we are led to believe right the way from childhood and how it all works. And you can see a lot of things playing out in the mainstream at the moment, regardless of your political viewpoint, regardless of where you stand on current affairs and different topics. There's no divide conversation. As with all of my conversations, there's not about picking a side or right or wrong. It's about observation. It's about observing the dynamics that are playing out. And I think even down to the kind of the micro level of my work that I'm doing with a specific topic at the moment, burnout for women over 40, to the macro level of global and cosmic stuff that's shifting through, it all feels like the same thing to me. It all feels like a giant unmasking of some of the things that we just haven't questioned, right? We're born into a family, we are raised by parents, we have siblings, we go to school, regardless of where we are in the world. And we have particular viewpoints that are instilled through our local media, through our stories, through our heritage, through our, through our DNA. But how do we know that this is the whole truth? How do we know that these things aren't leading us to a system or a world that isn't really good for us? And I've been looking a lot at, especially since I've become a granny of 2 now, the best thing ever. And now that I'm slowing down and I'm in my late 40s and I'm not in the hustle burnout mentality that I was as a Gen X woman in my 20s and 30s, trying to prove everything and be superwoman, I have a lot more time to reflect and research. And I'm starting to look at things like food, nutrition, what we're putting in our own bodies and our babies' bodies, the media around this, and the kind of because I came from the fashion industry, I know how all this works, right? My dad was in advertising. I know about subliminal advertising. I know it all, right? So let's just cut that out of the mix to begin with. I understand a lot more than people might assume. But looking at billboards and looking at magazine articles and looking at the telly and the adverts, and there's such layers and layers and layers to cultural conditioning, right, that make us believe in these certain narratives like this is good for you, this isn't good for you, this breakfast cereal is a healthy breakfast cereal, it's a healthy choice, it's got like 18 teaspoons of sugar in it, how is that healthy? So interesting. And my own journey at the moment, being perimenopausal, feral, crazy lady that I am, I'm having to really look at what my body's intelligence is telling me, and my body's signals, and particularly my digestion, and my skin, which my skin's I've got no filters on, right? Skin's looking all right. Wasn't a couple of years ago. Oh my goodness. I assumed that perimenopause was just kicking me in the ass and everything was hormonal. And I knew I didn't want to go on HRT. It's personal choice. I just don't trust very much medical intervention these days until proven otherwise. I really don't. Everything in my body tells me to just not go anywhere near Western medicine unless it's absolute desperate measures. So I was really reluctant to HRT, and I was looking at all different alternatives. I've been working on getting my supplements stacked just right. I've been listening to my body. Who would have thought it? Actually listening to the symptoms, not getting somebody else to mask the symptoms, actually listening. And a revelation that I've had recently is that my nutrition plays a huge big part in what's going on. So my joints, my bloating, absolute massive bloating, weight gain, joints, skin, hormones maybe have a certain part to play. As soon as I changed my diet, wow, lo and behold, my body was telling me not to put certain things in my body. So it made me think about how we kind of bypass all of that and get somebody else to fix things. And the people who fix things are generally not our friends. I hate to say it. If you're still asleep, they're not. Big business. Food's a big business. Beauty's a big business. Farmers are big. Not farmers. Farmers, you're great. PH farmer. Medications, big business. It's all big business, right? If there's a problem, there'll be a solution that costs something. So we have to be really awake and really aware of these things and take a little bit more autonomy and sovereignty and control over what we're doing. And it made me think about the burnout stuff I've been doing recently. And I'm doing lots of work around women, around societal pressures, and around the expectations that we put on ourselves. And I share my story quite openly about the expectations that I felt were on me. Now, that might not have been any expectations that anybody put on me. And nobody has explicitly said. It's what's implied, and it's what feels in my body like this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do everything. I'm supposed to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother. I'm supposed to run and own and operate a business. I'm supposed to work full time. I'm supposed to bring money in. I'm also supposed to keep the house clean, make everybody the dinners, take everybody places, drop them off, pick them up, sit on boards of governors and chairmanships of all these different groups. I meant to do football runs. I meant to do dance rehearsals. I meant to do school plays. I meant to do all these meetings. I meant to keep my head above water, keep my brain functioning, keep my clients happy, keep my business profitable. And I meant to stay on 24/7, no matter who needs me. My needs are at the bottom of the pile. And I look back at it now and I think, well, that was some bullshit. Why did I buy into that? Why did I think that was acceptable for so many years? Because it really isn't. But it was just an absolute norm. I have to work harder, I must hustle, I must do more, I must do better. And it really made me think, because I'm supporting a lot of people, especially women, through this at the moment. And I really hope I can get to the next generation as well and help them before they get to the point that we're at. In understanding that none of this is okay. All of these things are designed to keep a society in a certain place where everybody's just numb and hustling and never has enough. And in the case of women, we probably need, have a low fat diet so that you cannot be fat, because then all your collagen will deplete, especially with aging. And then we can sell you some products, and you can have skincare, and you can have surgeries, and you can have all of these treatments, and you can have medication to replace things. Whereas actually, you just look at your diet and you look at some real big healthy fats and get rid of the cholesterol myth. If you look at, I'm not going to tell you, you go down that rabbit hole and find out about that. If you look at what healthy things you're being shown, in fact, I would say to anybody out there, no matter what age you are, no matter what gender you are, no matter what your political affiliations or what your faith is, have a look at all of the things that you are told are correct and socially acceptable. And I can more or less guarantee you the opposite is probably closer to truth. Sad but true. Anything you're taught is healthy from the mainstream probably is not. It's probably causing something in the background that might come out a few years later that will then need a solution that can be sold. Anything to do with war, anything to do with these are the bad guys, we're the good guys, incorrect. Incorrect. If you've heard the analogy of putting the red ants and the black ants in a jar together, and they're perfectly fine until someone comes and shakes the jar. Then they fight each other. Neither of those ants are the problem. It's who's shaking the jar that's the problem. So have a think about that one. And I've been working with a lot of people over a lot of years who come from very different faith-based backgrounds. And I don't know how, but I've always managed to navigate that really tactfully, because I, as you know, am very witchy. I hold true to philosophies and belief system that has been outlawed and dangerous for many years. And I think, do you know what? That tells me it's closest to truth, because it's so dangerous to mainstream. Just basically the philosophy that I follow is don't be a dick, be nice, look after yourself and your family, protect the earth, understand the cycles of nature, understand how to grow your own food and be self-sufficient, understand how your body works and that of your family, and make your own medicine where you can, because it's abundant and it's all around you if you understand the systems. Understand the moon and the moon cycles. That really crazy woo-woo thing, the moon, it's just a torch in the sky. No, it affects the tides, the water on the earth. It moves the sea, and we are made of water. There is something in that. We're also cycled with our own feminine cycles, matching the moon. Come on, get with the program. You're told everything that's vilified is vilified because it's so close to truth. They want to distract you. So don't be distracted. Look at things that you might have thought were silly before now. Look at things that you thought were bad, that were evil, that were just wrong. And oh my God, we ridicule people that do that. Oh my God, that's just stupid. That's silly. Or that's dangerous. Or they're weird. Look at all those things. Look at them in detail and just suspend your judgment and see what information you can find, because you are more likely to find truth when you actually use your own critical thinking skills and start to dig a bit deeper. You do tend to go down some rabbit holes, and obviously there's misinformation on both sides. Let's put the caveat there that there is some interesting stuff and you have to use your own discernment and judgment, but there is a lot of incredibly important information and amazing people doing amazing things all over the world to help bring some truth forward in this bizarre time that we've got, where everybody's just feeling burnt out and anxious and misaligned, and everybody's having this identity crisis. Nobody knows who they are anymore. And some of the people that I'm speaking to and some of the episodes that I'll be bringing to you soon are just based around that. Yeah, it's the art of feeling better. How can we as little individuals help ourselves to feel better through these crazy times? And then, if we're in a position to, how can we then pass that on to the people around us, to our children, to our future generations? So it's simple things. And I found the hard way that actually you cannot fight the system. You can't fight by demanding change. And I see that a lot at the moment in the political arena. Everything's it's when you actually step out of it and look at it from a bit more of a bird's eye view, it's comical. God, we need more words, and that's not like me, is it? Just comical. Just like a crazy circus. Anyway, looking at that particular space and how things are playing out there, you can see that everyone's starting to really challenge, and I think, well, this isn't right, we don't like it, we don't like any of it, we just don't trust any of you. And everybody's struggling about who to vote for, and then everybody's judging people who are voting for someone they don't think they should vote for. It's a sea of nightmares, isn't it? Because the whole system is rigged. It's all set up not to work. So no matter who you vote for, it's not going to make a difference. It's just silly. It should do. The theory behind it should do. And I had so many sleepless nights thinking about, because people, society would challenge me and say, oh, suffragettes, women died for your right to vote. I thought, oh, that's awful. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. And somebody said to me the other day, I don't want to vote, but I'm going to have to vote because then I can't whinge. What? I didn't understand it. If I voted, then I can't complain because I voted for. Baffled me. But I understand where that kind of thought process comes from. And the fact that I was kind of caught up in this, oh my God, women died for my right to do this, how disrespectful for me not to. Oh my God, it's all part of the game. Don't buy into that bullshit. Do not buy into it. Because I'm pretty sure Emmeline Pankhurst did not go on hunger strike and throw herself in front of horses so that we could be part of this ridiculous charade of being complicit and keeping the craziness going and keeping this ridiculous belief that we actually have some democracy and some control and that we can trust the people that we vote in. I don't think so. And I also, here's this one for some interesting thought processes. I keep thinking about what an amazing psyop that would be if the whole suffragette movement around these amazing, incredible, strong women just standing up, if this was some kind of ploy to finally get women to fight to their death to be able to then do what us Gen X women do. Okay, fine, we will let you, yes, we understand that we should, you should have equal rights. If you really want to, you can go and work. You can go and work for less than the men if you must. Same job, but not quite as much. And then you still need to go home and raise your children and cook the dinner and keep the house clean and do all of those things. But if you insist, we will let you add in that extra layer of responsibility, and you can come and pay half the bills or maybe all the bills, and you can be the breadwinner as well as all those things. It hasn't come from me. You guys have demanded it. Okay, then. Maybe there's something in that keeps popping into my head that I doubt these amazing women at the turn of the century would have expected us to be in this position or wanted this for us. And yet we're told to be grateful for it. told to be grateful for the situation that we're all in at the moment. Well, I can tell you how grateful I am. Not at all. I think we need change, and I think we need change rapidly, and I think change is coming. So the best way to support yourself through these times of change is to work on you. And it feels quite alien, especially if you're a people pleaser or if you're used to being at the pointy end and fighting and injustice. I've been there, right? It's really alien to think about bringing it back onto the individual level. But if you look at, scriptures, and if you look at ancient knowledge and ancient wisdom from all different kinds of cultures, there really is this space that we are sent to work on that inner light. As above, so without, so below, as within, so without. And it really brings it back to this whole energetic space. You look at quantum theory and nonlinear dynamics and all of the energy-based information that's coming out now, it also matches up with that the only influence we have is not to get caught up in the distraction of the external stuff and try and give our power away and send our energy into something that's futile. It's actually to turn it inwards and to do the work and to understand who we are, what we're here to do, fill ourselves up with energy, stand in our space, look after ourselves, look after our home, look after our family, look after our community as much as we can, rise above, don't shut out the noise, turn off your TVs, except if you're watching podcasts like this that are informative and helpful. Look at where you're getting your information from, choose wisely, really discern where your information is coming from, and then think about whether it hits and whether it resonates for you or not, right? Think about whether it makes a difference to your life and whether it feels true or not. And my truth could be very different to your truth, and that's okay. We can still be friends if we don't agree on things. If my truth does not land and none of what I'm saying makes sense, and you think I'm being very inflammatory, and if you think I'm being just silly, misinformed, that's okay. You are allowed to think that and feel that and believe that. That doesn't mean I have to change my perspective. But I'm not expecting you to change yours if it doesn't land. So it's cool, right? Just consume content from the right places where you feel there's some element of truth. Don't be a dick. Try and be nice to everybody else, even if they don't agree with your perspective. Find some commonality, find some common ground, find the things that you do connect with and agree on. And if you can't handle the dynamic of a discussion and where no one has to be right, and that kind of disagreement where it doesn't have to be a proving who's right and who's wrong, it can just be, that's different conversation. If you can't manage that, then just stay away from those topics. Don't do it. Keep your vibe high. It's the name of the game. Sacred nervous system, spirals of energy. Keep that vibe going high. Don't let the lower vibrational stuff get in the way. Don't let things like apathy, anger, anxiety, shame, all those low vibe emotions. Where is he? Dr. David Hawkins. If you think I'm getting too woo-woo again, read that book. Psychiatrist Dr. David Hawkins mapped out these emotions into hertz and frequency. If you understand anything about frequency, look at Nikola Tesla's work before he mysteriously carked it. It's all numbers, it's all coding, it's all energy. And there's lots of science now coming out to really validate and inform you a bit more about that. You need to work on your energy. You have to work on your vibe and your own blueprint, your own DNA. You want to be able to step into the version of yourself that you're supposed to be. And it's all in there. It's all coded in there. But what we learn from our environment, what we pick up on, what we see in the media, what we learn from our politicians, from our... the word that comes to mind is our handlers, right? They are not what we think. None of it is what you think, right? We're just cattle, and I don't want to be cattle. I don't like it one bit. So what we are told is correct, and we have to conform to, and we have to abide by, and all these things are great. It's not what we are led to believe. Put it that way. We need to understand that, and we need to. Maybe we can't have total. I'm not a total anarchist. We need some kind of systems, but the systems in place do not serve the majority of us. There needs to be new systems that do. They need to be based on collaboration and cooperation, and we need to be able to understand the dynamics of having, yes, financial, we can look at the current crisis now, looking at the oil and how long have we got left before the food starts to get impacted by the lack of transport, and then all the crazies, and then we're all going to be fighting over toilet roll again, and oh, there's another pandemic as well coming in. Yeah, everyone stay in your houses. When we start to think about how all this works and how it all plays out and how it should be different, and how, yes, we can have finance, we can have money, we can have, tangible gold or pieces of paper that are worth something, but we also have time that we can barter with. We have skills and talents. We have other things that we can share in community settings where actually it's not all about zeros in the bank. We need to be thinking in those ways. We need to be thinking how we can do that, how we can leverage the likes of AI and technology into the right way to take the burden off some of the more mundane tasks, the admin tasks, the things that don't need us to be focused on them. We need to be freed up to be existing and to be doing the amazing things that we are here to do, right? Experiencing joy and peace and expansion and creativity and doing amazing things, right? We can't do that when we're dumbed down and dulled down into this mundane hamster wheel life that we're told is normality. Can't happen. I believe that schools are changing, and I believe that teachers will be obsolete soon. Sorry, teachers, you're all jumping ship because it doesn't feel right. I am nowhere near the education system anymore. Tried to fight it from the inside. Don't want to touch it with a barge pole. It's part of the broken system. It's crumbling. I'll be over here building a new one, thanks. When you're ready, this is where I'll be. But if you think about teachers and how AI, we've only scratched the surface. I'm working in some spaces now with some deeper, innovative AI. You don't even know yet. If you're using ChatGPT, the latest one, or Claude or Gemini, that's nothing compared to what's coming down the pipeline. I can assure you, people are going to be able to learn at the touch of a button. Teachers, classrooms can be changed into amazing, immersive, innovative learning environments where if it works for you, you can learn in your own way. And that can be AI led. And then people can actually learn skills outside, in their environment, in nature, in spaces where they're going to learn things that matter to them and that they want to do eventually. They'll be out having adventures and learning different things in different ways. If you want academia, yeah, you can go and learn it. There'll be AI spaces for that. Food for thought. Same with medicine, same with social care, same with all of these things that I spent years trying to fight. Now I'm just on the outside supporting and helping and trying to move towards these new ways that are built less around profit from other people's misfortune, less about profit and greed from the problems that they create themselves, and more about finding solutions and working together, getting some balance and harmony where everybody benefits, not just a few. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk today. It's been very informative, hasn't it? It's just my ramblings and rantings for today, but it kind of leads us into and sets the tone and the stage for some of the conversations that I'm going to be having soon. I had a great chat with a wonderful lady called Amira a couple of weeks ago from the Shifted podcast. She's in New York, so we have some conversations there about women, Gen X women, neurospicy Gen X women that are hustling and running businesses and potentially burning out, and trying to understand those dynamics and how my work fits in there. I've got a couple more lined up. Some really cool stuff happening. A lot of work in the States, actually, that I'm doing remotely, which is interesting because I've always had that connection. But yeah, I'm now on the Human Healing Hub with the wonderful Leanne. So I'll be doing a podcast with her in Europe somewhere in a couple of weeks. So that'll be out to you. And then I have Andre, who is an amazing Reiki master who teaches Reiki so beautifully. Really, really cool teacher. So I believe Andre's in Germany, so I'm catching up with him in another week or so. So lots of people from all over the place doing incredible things. And all I would say is just explore. Don't stick in your lane with your tunnel vision blinkers that you've always taught is the right way, because it probably isn't. Just start to expand your horizons and explore a little bit, because when the shit really hits the fan and everything does crumble down, it won't be quite as difficult for you to manage. Because if you stay in this lane now where you truly believe and trust that these systems and these spaces and these people at the top have your best interests at heart, it's going to be a long fall down when you actually realise they don't. So I would implore you to just start thinking about that now and start considering how you can take control of your own life, of your own health, of your own freedom. Free yourself from the daily grind, free yourself from the confines that you're in, break free from all those chains, and look at, again, your level of burnout. How burnt out are you feeling? And if it's high up there, body's telling you something, it's time for a change. So get out, touch some grass, drink some water, consume good stuff, both digitally and physically. And I will see you next time on The Art of Feeling Better.